kitchen isn't just any room in the house, it's the heart of the home. So much happens here, from cooking to hanging out, and in general, you are gonna deal with a lot of messes in the kitchen. The issue with the kitchen is that if you don't stay on top of it, the mess builds up fast. So in this video, I wanna share with you 16 of my favorite kitchen cleaning tips and tricks. These are like 16 things that you can put on a cleaning checklist for your kitchen that will make it look sparkling. We've got everything from small appliances, large appliances, hard water spots, sinks, pretty much anything you're gonna come across in the kitchen, I'm covering right now. And give this video a thumbs up for a box of baking soda in your kitchen. It can do everything from scour your sinks to put out a grease fire. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. And I just wanted to let you know that this video is brought to you by our sister company, Makers Clean, where we sell our premium microfiber cleaning tools and so much more. It can be difficult to keep your kitchen clean if you don't have your cleaning supplies on hand. Some people get a little too overzealous and they keep all of their household cleaning supplies under the kitchen sink. You don't need to go there, but you do need some essentials. Any dishwasher detergent or tablets should live under there. Vinegar, baking soda, your spray bottles, whether you make your own or you buy your own stuff. Cleaning tools are also important to have on hand, so make sure that you have really good quality sponges and cloths. But of course, anytime you store anything, whether it's a product or a tool, you want to make sure that it's dry before you stick it under the sink. Otherwise, it'll start to get musty and mildewy. So again, you want to have those cleaning basics: dish soap, baking soda, vinegar. You can even keep some rubbing alcohol under there, your spray bottles, and your cleaning tools. That way you'll never be caught off guard when you're in the kitchen and you're posed with a cleaning challenge. When you walk into a kitchen, if you see a dirty sink, it just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the kitchen. So I always like to make sure that my sink is clean. That means that it's shiny, dry, and there's nothing in that little drain catcher. So the way that I do this, of course, you gotta empty it out, load up the dishwasher, or wash your dishes. The next thing to do, I sprinkle some baking soda in there. That way you get that extra abrasion so that you can really kind of scrape off anything that's ground into the sink, whether it's dirt or oil, without actually ruining the sink. I also throw a little bit of dish soap in there. The dish soap really helps to lift grease. That's the whole purpose why we use soap. And then I use a double-sided sponge. I use the scrubby side, and I just kind of start my way at the top and swirl down to the bottom, and then I finish up in the drain and that drain catcher. And then I crank the hot water, kind of hose everything down. I have that removable head from the top of my faucet, super helpful in this case. And the clincher is to take a microfiber cloth and buff that sink dry. The combination of the baking soda, the sponge, the hot water, and then buffing it, it's perfect. The right way to clean that little crevice between your countertop and your oven is to pull your oven out. But if it's too heavy or too time consuming, get yourself a butter knife and a cloth, and you can use this to kind of scrape whatever is stuck between that little crevice and kind of wipe it out with a dampened cloth. Super simple and makes a difference. This is a highly debated topic, so I want your opinion in the comments down below as to what you do. And it has to do with which way you store your glasses, mugs, and cups when they come out of the dishwasher or when you finish hand washing them. Now, the right way to do it is to store them upright. Many of you might store them upside down, but hopefully I can flip that on its head. The reason I like to store my glasses upright is because it allows for proper circulation. So let's say that there's any moisture left behind in the glass once it comes out of the dishwasher. If I store it upright, at least I know that there's circulation, everything will dry out, and I don't have to worry about any warping or damage on the actual shelf. The reason people like to store their glasses upside down, so that would be the rim side down, is to prevent anything from falling in the glass, whether it's dust or bugs. And if you have an open air shelf, it's actually not a bad idea. But if you're in a cupboard in an enclosed space, I think it's fine. That said, if dust or bugs are an issue, definitely consider storing your glasses upright, otherwise, upside down, otherwise keep them upright. But let me know in the comments down below the way that you store your glasses. Are you one of those habitual upside downers, or are you a die-hard right side upper? If you hand wash your dishes instead of using the dishwasher and you fill a sink with soapy water, here's a good tip for you. Make sure that you clean your dishes, cutlery, and cups in the order of cleanest to most greasy. So look through your pile and clean the cleanest stuff first, working your way up to the dirtiest stuff last. That way you keep that sink full of water as clean as possible for as long as possible. When we moved into this house, I looked under the head of my faucet and I noticed some crusty white orange buildup happening there. And it wasn't anything to shudder at, but I knew it was so easy to fix that I just went ahead and fixed it. And I have to say, it looks perfect. So it's the easiest thing to do. You basically get yourself a plastic bag, fill it with white vinegar. You don't want to fill it all the way, maybe fill it about halfway, and then take an elastic band and secure the bag to the faucet head and leave it overnight. I know it sounds simple. It is the easiest thing to do. And it's one of those jobs that like won't really, change the world, but every time you come in and you use your sink, you'll look at it and it just helps your kitchen feel that much cleaner because there's one less kind of yucky, gross thing to look at, and it's a passive job. Little effort for big payoff. If you have a tiled backsplash like I do, or you have tiles on your kitchen floor, you might notice that your grout is particularly prone to getting dirty in a place like the kitchen. You're spilling things, you're cooking, there's water going all over the place. So you have to be very particular about how you maintain and clean your grout. Now, the way that you can lighten or whiten your grout is to make a paste of 2 parts baking soda to 1 part hydrogen peroxide. Apply that with a cleaning toothbrush, not your toothbrush. Let it sit for a couple of minutes and then gently scrub. A lot of people don't know this, but you're actually supposed to seal your grout on a fairly regular basis. And if you're someone who doesn't do that, you're also supposed to seal your natural stone surfaces. These are things that we don't think about. However, if you do that, it actually creates a barrier so that your grout never gets dirty. So if you're someone who notices that your grout is continually getting dirty, you might want to actually consider cleaning it and then sealing it. If you love making smoothies and soups in your blender, and I am a fan, you know how crusty that thing can get if you leave it for even a few minutes. As soon as you are done blending your thing, you take it to the sink, you add a little bit of dish soap, fill it halfway with water, pop it back on the blender base, and blend it for about 30 seconds, then dump out the water, give it a rinse, and let it air dry. It sounds so simple, but the blender can do all the hard work for you. And if you don't let everything dry to the side of the blender jar, you'll notice it's so easy to clean. Your kitchen requires laundry. It's something that we probably don't think about because when we think about laundry, we think about bedrooms and bathrooms, but your kitchen has quite a few textiles that need to be washed fairly regularly. Your tea towels or your dish towels should be washed every other day. If you have a rug, a washable one of course, that one can be tossed in with your tea towels. The same thing goes for your oven gloves and your apron. I remember when I was growing up, I don't think we ever washed our oven glove. So now we sort of have a habit where we make sure that we throw them into the washing machine every now and then because they can get straight up gross. An easy way to rack up an expensive plumbing bill is to pour fat, oil, or grease down your sink or flush it down your toilet. Don't do that. Instead, get yourself an old coffee can or chickpea can. Just pour your grease in there, let it cool down. You can keep it somewhere hidden like under the kitchen sink. And when it fills up, you can dump those contents into your compost bin and then rinse and recycle whatever your vessel was. You wanna make sure you're not contaminating the waste stream in any way. Another thing you can do, and I do this whenever I cook with cast iron, I just take a paper towel, I wipe the grease out when it is warm, but okay to touch, and I just throw that directly in the compost bin. You of course wanna make sure that whatever city or town you live in, it's okay to compost paper towel. A great way to prevent microwave spatters is to get a little microwave cover for anything that you pop in there. If you don't have one of those yet, don't worry. You can give your microwave a little spa treatment by cutting a lemon in half, filling a bowl halfway with water, and then squeezing both halves of that lemon into the bowl, putting the whole thing in the microwave for about 3 minutes, removing that bowl carefully, and then taking a microfiber cloth and wiping everything down. The steam generated from the water plus that lemon oil mixed in there will make everything so fresh and so clean. I mentioned earlier about keeping the kitchen cleaning essentials under the kitchen sink. And I know it can be such a fabulous place to store everything, but really just keep it to the kitchen and get rid of the rest of the clutter. It can be very easy to shove things under there, but then you can basically consider under the kitchen sink as a clutter black hole, and the things you put in there, you'll never know where they are anyway. So make sure that you keep it minimal and keep it purposeful, and everything that doesn't belong in the kitchen can be stored somewhere else. Unless you're hosting people, I would recommend not to break out your nice serving dishes and instead have people bring their plates up to the stove when everything is sort of safe and cool. They can plate their own meals and then have a seat at the table. Now this might sound like a small thing, but when you think about like a nice dinner setup at a kitchen table with a family and bowls and plates, and there's just extra stuff. Now you've got to rinse those serving pieces, plus you've got to clean out the pots and pans. So I say just keep it simple, or you can also bring your cooking vessels right to the table and put them on trivets if everybody at the table knows to be safe. You know, I'm a mom now, so I'm always worried about safety, but if everyone knows to be safe and make sure that they're not hurting themselves on your cooking vessels, that's another great way to serve dishes without having to do extra dishes. If you're a frequent kettle user, you might notice that there is hard water buildup or that kind of white crust growing on the inside of your kettle. Don't worry, it's harmless, but it's easy to get rid of. Just fill your kettle up with white vinegar, turn it on, boil it, and then dump the vinegar down the sink and give your kettle a rinse. It's that easy, it just goes away. A lot of us don't think about wooden cooking utensils the way we think about our cutting boards, but they should actually be treated the exact same way. Your wooden utensils should be hand washed and dried after each use instead of put in the dishwasher. The reason this is because the water can wear down the wood as well as the heat when it goes into the dishwasher. It can then make it brittle. So if you want to negate all of this and keep your wooden utensils, of course, and your cutting board in great shape, make sure that you are applying a mineral oil or a board oil every 4 weeks or so. That way you keep your wooden utensils looking nice and shiny, but also water repellent, which makes them safer to use and helps them last for longer. Since starting Clean My Space, one of the things that I've really changed about the way I live and function is I don't treat my kitchen counters like a storage facility. Instead, I have a few very specific decorative pieces. We've got our famous yellow pineapple, and then we have a plant and of course a cutting board right beside me. But that aside, we keep our counter clear. We don't keep appliances on there, a lot of decor, we don't store food on the counters. And the reason is because it becomes too overwhelming of a space, and then the kitchen is not functional and it always looks cluttered and messy. So this goes to a bigger piece all about minimalism and only keeping what you really need in the kitchen, whether that's decor or doubling up on utensils. So if you're someone that has like a little rack that has a bunch of spatulas and spoons sitting there on the countertop, ask yourself, do I really need it there? Or is there a little drawer that I can put that stuff, and maybe you have, 6 of them and you only need 2. So just sort of rethink what you have on your counter. And what you'll notice is as you slim down your counter, your kitchen starts to feel so much more clean and clear and functional and enjoyable to be in. So now you know the 16 key things you need to do to keep your kitchen clean. And that brings me to this week's comment question, which is, what is the one thing you absolutely dread doing in the kitchen? For me, I have to say it's cleaning that cupboard underneath the sink. I don't know what it is. That's a real mystery zone for me, and I don't like going in there. But I'd love to know in the comments down below, what's that one thing that you can't stand cleaning in the kitchen? Let me know. We've recently revamped our newsletter. It's called The Dirty Dish. I'm really proud of it. It's chock full of great cleaning advice, but it's short, it's fun, and it's easy to read. If you want to subscribe, you can find the link down in the description box below. If you're interested in supporting us here at the Clean My Space channel because you love the work that we do, consider becoming a member. If you want to learn the secret to streak-free windows, you can check this video out right over here. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.